Hello everyone, my name is Amelia, and in this video, I want to briefly describe the impacts of AI in our world today. So let's first start with innovation and technology. I mean, humans have always told stories about change, about new tools, new machines, and new ideas reshaping the way we live. So in this demo here, we're going to treat artificial intelligence and machine learning as the next chapter in that long story of innovation. So for most of human history, the agricultural revolution defined how we worked and organized our societies. Later, the Industrial Revolution brought factories, railways, and mass production. Then the technology revolution of the 1990s connected the world through personal computers and the internet. So today's AI wave sits on top of all of that. Um, it's built on chips, data, and algorithms, but it ultimately is ultimately driven by like the same model, the same drive to solve problems that is supposed to kind of extend our own human capabilities. And so, as Darwin once suggested, it's not the strongest or the smartest who thrive, but the most adaptable. And learning AI is really about learning how to adapt into this new environment. So, let's first kind of take a look at AI in the narrow sense. So this is the type of system that you see a lot of the times. It plays games, recognizes patterns, makes recommendations in a specific domain. Um, so to kind of make that concrete, you can play this simple game of tic-tac-toe against the computer. So like as you place X's and O's, the system responds quite instantly. Not because it's thinking like a person, but because it has learned a set of rules that tell it what to do in each situation. So, all right. Um, you can kind of see. Okay, so moving on to general AI. All right, so um, artificial general intelligence is still the hypothetical strong AI that could reason broadly across many tasks like a human. And so you could go ahead and read all of this. And then next is Super AI. You can absolutely watch this that illustrates this concept well, and you can go ahead and read all of that. But it's seen as something kind of beyond human capabilities. Um, Artificial superintelligence is a concept that we mainly encounter through science fiction and research discussions. But I mean, all of these names, the goal here is to um, talk about the different levels that people approach this specific topic. So what you're using in this demo here, like this website, is the narrow sense of AI. Okay. And then here under machine learning, we're going to go ahead to supervised learning. All right. So here you'll see a scatter plot shown on the screen where you basically add and remove data points, and a line of best fit will shift to follow those different um, points. And so behind that is a regression algorithm that's trying to find a relationship between inputs and outputs. So like a teacher marking answers and helping a student adjust their approach over time. So absolutely, you can go ahead and continue to play with this, put in numbers, kind of see how the line is shifting, really. It's trying to find the average between. Awesome. Cool. All right. And so moving on to the unsupervised learning here. Um, so this type of learning is no one is really handing the machine labeled examples. So instead, you see something like as familiar as a set of shopping lists for three different Mondays. So a clustering algorithm, it groups items, suggests what might belong on the next list based on these three instances of Mondays. So it helps reveal patterns, even though nobody has told the model, hey, these go together. So when you add or remove items, the suggestions here will shift, and then you get to watch how the algorithm kind of reorganizes your choices, showing that machines can discover structure in everyday data. So let's just kind of exit this. I think you can add eggs, um, apple, and banana, and then maybe this is a banana day. Banana, banana, banana. Okay. And then maybe this is like a beef, bread, eggs, banana, banana. So you can kind of see how this changes. So just because we had a banana day doesn't mean that every Monday is a banana day. But let's see if, look at that. AI is thinking that maybe there are more bananas in your life on Mondays that you should be getting. Okay, so reinforcement learning. All right. So this is where you get to kind of watch this agent wandering through a maze, taking random steps, bumping into dead ends, and slowly discovering um, what what moves lead closer to the goal. Each step is like a small reward, each wrong turn a lesson, and over time, the path through the maze lights up as the agent figures out how to get from start to finish efficiently. So this basically helps connect machine learning to how we learn as humans, how we try, we fail, we adjust, and we remember what worked and what didn't. Okay, so here AI in finance. So basically, AI is already changing how people analyze the market. Rather than diving into these dense equations, this demo right here, it will present an AI scoring system that looks at individual stocks through the lens of major AI trends. So the trends being like neural networks, large language models, machine learning, generative AI, and deep learning. So by comparing stock returns to those themes using a weighted algorithm, this right here produces an AI score from negative 100 to 100, um, suggesting how tightly a company's narrative is tied to the AI wave. So you can type in any ticker, a big tech name or whatever company. If you've seen any of my other videos, I'm just gonna do the Caterpillar company hat. Yep. Basically it scores pretty low here. And then you can play around with this basically. All right. And then finally political sensitivity. So political sensitivity, here's this equation right here. Um, it is a dimension that a lot of investors and just people in general, they don't see this quantified. So you can enter a ticker here, and it'll show you how that company's historical returns have co-moved with periods when the White House was controlled by Democrats versus Republicans. And so behind the scenes is a simple economic model that compares a stock's excess return to the market, adds a factor for political control, and estimates how sensitive that company has been to changes in the party occupying the presidency. So, I mean, you do not have to memorize this formula. It's just about seeing that AI and just a lot of data can help make sense of questions that often feel like purely emotional. And so, by turning these political cycles into numbers and patterns, um, this basically shows how technology can help you think more clearly about risk, instead of just reacting to headlines. So again, let's go ahead and just hit. And so this is actually more neutral, but because it has a negative score, you could see how it's slightly favored by Democrats. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. I hope you learned a little bit about how powerful AI is and how it's shaping the world. So until next time.